Hello everyone, Silent here. Welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. In this one I'll be showing you my new and improved version 3 Blaze Farm, and this one is very nice. I went ahead and took all the feedback and all the suggestions and constructive criticism from version 2 and turned it into a very nice farm. This has new and improved simplified redstone for the crushing and sorting circuit. It also has a very simple funnel system, and it's using a two-way, one-tall flying machine to deliver all of the blazes directly to your kill chamber. Overall, this is a very reliable design and also super quick and easy to build as well. So as you can see, how this farm works is basically the blazes get spawned in, and then a little bit later on, the flying machine will just kind of sweep all of them into this kind of trench over here. Now, once these guys are all inside of this trench, they will get pushed into one by one block right here, and they'll just kind of pile up right there. Now, this little system down here at the bottom might look really janky, but honestly, it's extremely reliable. I have tested this extensively, and blazes never get stuck in there. Even if they do happen to get stuck in there, it's a pretty easy fix. But once you have, yourself a pile up, you can just go ahead and flick that lever, or you don't even need to wait for them to pile up. You can just have them all go directly into your kill chamber. Now, once you actually want to go ahead and kill your blazes, just go ahead and flick this lever right here. That'll block off any new blazes from coming in, be extremely loud, and also go ahead and take all these guys down to a one-hit kill. You can then go ahead and just smack all of them with your sword, or you can throw some harming potions at them to make them a one-hit kill. So this blaze farm really only has one major problem that I would consider a proper con, and that is if you unload the game, or if the game crashes, or if you just leave the area while this flying machine is running, it could break. Now, that's honestly pretty standard for flying machines. Pretty much on any platform you'll have that problem. So the only, thing that you need to do as you are unloading this farm is simply flick this lever, turn off the farm. That way the flying machine will actually stop in its tracks over there. It will just be docked right here, right outside the farm, ready to go, and next time you actually want to turn it on and start using your blaze farm. So if you don't like the idea of your blaze farm occasionally breaking if you misuse it, then what I would suggest doing is actually building the version 2. It's a very, very simple and very reliable blaze farm that just has a very unique pattern of pistons, unique to the Bedrock edition of Minecraft, and the spawning mechanics for spawners. Now, this one is pretty much impossible to turn into a multi-blaze spawner, so if you have yourselves dual blaze spawners, or just multi-spawners in general, definitely build the version 3 and modify it to your needs. So probably the most interesting part of this entire build is the two-way, one-tall flying machine that actually powers it, and this is not actually my design. I've seen a ton of people post this on Discord, so I have no idea who actually originally posted it. But it is extremely, extremely useful for so many different things, like this blaze farm, for instance. So if we go ahead and flick this up, that'll kind of turn on the return system. As you can see, it goes this way. And this actually uses a very interesting and clever mechanic using the Glazed Terracotta, and actually pushes over part of the flying machine every section to make it a two-way flyer, because of course, for some reason, there is no extremely useful block dropping on Bedrock Edition. They kind of just neglected to add that for some reason. But yeah, this is pretty much like the best that we got. It is certainly the smallest two-way flying machine that I have seen on Bedrock Edition. But I mean, needless to say, it kind of pales in comparison to Java. But hey, this ain't Java, this is Bedrock. We work with what we can get, and this thing is absolutely beautiful. In case you didn't think this system down here at the bottom was reliable, trust me, I have tested it a lot. So what we have up here is just a few blaze spawners. This is normally how I test my blaze farms. Just spam down a bunch of spawners and see what breaks and then fix it. And yeah, I've been doing this for many hours. I think at one point I had about 30 spawners in here, and this thing is an absolute beast. It handled it just fine. So two small things before we hop into the tutorial. Yes, we're in the overworld because the nether is very, very ugly. Enough said. And also, there's going to be a full materials list for this build in the description down below for your convenience. You can go ahead and copy paste that into whatever notes you may have. And without further ado, let's just kind of hop into it, shall we? So to start things off, you're going to want to go ahead and get your spawning room in place. And this is actually pretty simple. So you want to go 5 blocks down from your spawners. So that's 3, 4, and 5. And then make a non-spawnable floor. So you want to make this out of glass, or something that's non-spawnable so that you don't get like ghasts and wither skeletons and whatever in your blaze farm. You also want to make your walls around this room 8 blocks tall, so that should go 2 blocks above your blaze spawner, just like so. And then to disable your blaze spawner as you're actually building all of this, you're simply going to need 4 glowstone on the sides. If you want to be super paranoid, extra safe, place some glowstone on the top and bottom as well, and that will prevent all of the blaze spawns from that spawner. This room is also 9 by 9, so basically what you do is you just place 4 blocks off of the side of your spawner, and that is where all of your walls are going to be going. And now you want to go ahead and decide where your funnel is going to be going for all of your blazes. This thing is basically going to punch all of your blazes into a 1x1 spot for you to kill them easily. And yeah, basically just decide what side of your room it's going to be going on. It doesn't matter as of now. Just make sure you got your orientation in place. I put in a couple placeholder pistons. Just kind of mark the side that you want to place the funnel on. So from there, you need 2 sets of slots. So 1 slot on this side where our funnel is going to be going, and another opposite of that. Now for this, you need 7 obsidian on the bottom, 7 on the top, and the edges can be whatever full block of your choice. Stone, cobblestone, glass, whatever you feel like building it out of will work just fine. And then of course you need 1 opposite of that as well, exactly the same, and not really too much to say there. Now on this side, which does not have the funnel, you need some additional blocks to help keep the blazes inside of it because they are very glitchy. So you just need 2 blocks right there, and then underneath like this block right here, which is the closest to your wall, you need an additional layer of blocks underneath it, and then just a couple more on this side. And honestly, you can go ahead and fill in these corners as well because mobs are extremely glitchy on Bedrock Edition, and you can never really be too safe. So go ahead and fill in really as many blocks as you feel like, but those are kind of the bare minimum. So now that you've spammed all the blocks that your heart could desire, you need to go underneath the direct center of the spawner. So that's going to be right here, and you need to go down by 9 from your floor. So your floor doesn't count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And this is actually going to be your floor level of where you're walking around your thing. And it's pretty cool to actually look up and see the farm working above you. So 3 blocks this way is where your blazes are actually going to be sitting. This is where they're all going to be dying, and you'll likely be standing somewhere in this area for orientation. This is also on the same side as our funnel, which we're now going to start work on. So on the side that you want your funnel to be on, you basically just want to go ahead and remove this layer of blocks right here closest to your wall, and then just start placing in your pistons. So you need 1 piston right there, go down by 2 blocks, another right there, another 2 blocks down, 1 more, 2 more blocks down, your final piston, and then 2 more blocks down, and this right here is actually going to be your very center point in your floor. So everything that we do on this side, we're going to be doing on this side as well, so I'll just build it up with you once. So go ahead and place yourself an observer right here facing your second piston. You then want to have a solid block behind that, a piece of redstone dust on top of it, and then you also want to make sure that you have a piece of glass right here to the side, and you want pieces of redstone dust on top of both of those. So go behind here, you want a piece of glass right here as well, and then 2 pieces of redstone dust, and then you want to have yourself 1 more piece of glass right here, 2 more pieces of redstone dust, and that is actually all of your pistons wired up. Go ahead and place whatever kind of pressure plate here, here, and here that you like, and then at the top one, you just need yourself a golden pressure plate. Very important that that is a golden one. So the reason why we have a golden pressure plate right here is because for some reason a ton of blazes always end up piling up in this area. So we can't actually have a standard just pressure plate and redstone dust because that would completely break. And we can't just have a standard pressure plate and observer because the more blazes that pile up here, just the more it's going to be getting broken. But with a weighted pressure plate, the more mobs that pile on, the more times this actually sends out an update, and the more times this piston here gets powered, which is actually a self-fixing system. So that is why this top one is a little bit different. And now what you basically want to go ahead and do is basically just surround this entire thing with blocks. Just make it a 1 wide trough going all the way down, and you kind of want blocks going all the way down to these areas. Make sure there is no way for you to see inside of here. Otherwise, the blazes will start, attacking you when they do spawn and when you're actually using your farm. So just basically kind of completely encase it on all sides, and you can probably figure that out. It's pretty simple. Once you have your entire funnel blocked in and there is no way for you to see in there whatsoever, we can move on to doing the kill chamber. Now this is actually pretty simple. So I just went ahead and went to the center point right here, went down by a couple blocks, and then just put in a hopper. This carpet right here is necessary so that XP doesn't get stuck in the hopper. And you can run this into whatever storage you'd like. I always leave storage up to you guys. So what you're gonna wanna go ahead and do is replace that with a solid block of your choice. It does need to be a solid block, and then you kind of need to get in your control panel over here. So this is a 2-block gap right there. And this is going to be for your crusher and your little separator right here. And this is going to be your actual on and off switch for your flying machine, and basically for your entire farm as well. So we're just going to worry about the crusher and the sorter real quick. So go behind that lever, place down a piece of redstone dust, a sticky piston right there, a block on top of that, block behind it, and a repeater on 4 ticks for a monostaple circuit. Now you want to run that into a block, and then you want to go ahead and get down yourself a 5x2 of blocks right here, or sorry, a 4x2 of blocks, and a block up in that corner just like so. We're then going to be making a short little pulse extender to crush all of our blazes down to a 1-hit kill with a weapon of your choice. Just run that off into a redstone dust going this way, and then you want a sticky piston right here, and that should line up with that solid block that we placed a little bit earlier. Place another sticky piston on top of that, one right there. Go right here and you want yourself a redstone torch off of the side of this redstone dust. Now we can't place a redstone dust right here for obvious weird reasons, so we're going to place a repeater going into a block, and then you want to get yourself a redstone torch right there, solid block above it, and then just an upper slab like so, and one more piece of redstone dust right there. So basically how this little system here works is whenever you flick your lever, your top block is going to extend first, and that's going to do 2 things. It's going to stop new blazes from going into your kill chamber and getting crushed, and it's also going to push all the current blazes that are in here downwards and make them stop jumping. So a little bit after that one extends, the bottom one will extend, and that will actually start crushing them all, and that will take them down to a 1-hit kill with your sword. So that is why we have the pulse extender back there. Now you could extend this pulse extender to be, maybe 6 comparators, maybe 8 comparators if you're choosing to use a less powerful weapon. However, I find that 4 comparators is the best match because a lot of times your blazes will take some damage from your flying machines, and that can actually be a considerable amount of damage depending on when they spawn and where. So yeah, just 4 comparators is usually pretty good. So now it is actually time to start working on your flying machines and your return stations as well, which is pretty fun. So you need to start off with a piston right here, and this is kind of right off center of your farm. So this right here is the center. It is 1 block to the right if you are standing behind the farm looking into it. And yeah, to start off by placing a piece of obsidian behind it and another one to the side of it as well. Then you need a little platform of blocks down here like so. And yeah, just place in a couple pieces of redstone dust, repeater on 4 ticks, another repeater on 4 ticks, and one more on 2 ticks. Get yourself a block up like so. And then you need yourself a sticky piston right here facing upwards. So 1 right there, and then an observer facing off in that direction as well, and you can go ahead and remove those 2 blocks. From here, we need a piece of obsidian kind of up and diagonal of that observer. Place another observer right here, going into a slime block, and then you need 3 more slime blocks in this kind of L shape. Place yourself a piece of glazed terracotta, and then a sticky piston right there. So now what you need to do is work on the other side of the flying machine. So just place in slime blocks all along this side right here, place them all in there, and then 1 more right there. You need yourself a piece of glazed terracotta, and then an observer facing into the farm right there. Get yourself a sticky piston facing that way, and that's actually your entire flying machine done. What you can do now is place yourself a kind of solid block or a transparent block off the side of it, and that is just so that it doesn't, stick to the sides over here, but it also sweeps all of the blazes to the ends. So you need 1 on that side, and you also need another one right there to finish it off. All right, so now that we have everything on this side in place, we need to flip around to the other side of the farm and install the second return station. So from this piece of obsidian, you want to go out by 4 blocks, and then another piece of obsidian up. Go ahead and remove all of that right there. Place in an observer facing that way, a block up behind it, a block down, another block up, and then 1 more block down right there, a piston in place right there, and then you just want a piece of redstone dust and a repeater on 4 ticks just like so, and that is your entire little return station completely built. So Now go around to your actual flying machine on this side, just place in a power source, and that should send over the first part of the machine. It should launch, and then once it gets to this side, the first part should be pushed back into place, and then it should go back the other way. Very, very fine. It looks like everything is built completely correct. Fantastic. Now that we have the entire flying machine in place, we need to install the on and off switch for it. So just go ahead and kind of run a janky redstone line to here, and then you kind of just want to run it to this position right here. Doesn't really matter how you wire this up, it is going to be super duper messy either way. So redstone torch right there, another block on top of it, redstone torch, one more block, redstone torch, one more block, redstone torch, and the final block. All that's really important is that your top torch in your torch tower is off. And that way, when you actually flick this lever, your flying machine will turn on and actually start doing its thing. The final things we need to do before we turn on our farm is go ahead and just place a bunch of blocks in front of this kill chamber, because again, blazes are glitchy and we kind of just want to completely encase this entire thing, all the corners and everything, because they love to clip through those blocks, don't they? Just leave a little 1 block gap right here for you to hit them with your sword and also get the experience and drops from. Now you also want to build a roof on top of this thing, and this is of course very, very simple. Just go up 2 blocks above your blaze spawner and you'll be good there. And then the final thing that you need to do is remove all these light sources, and as soon as you do this, they will start to spawn pretty much instantly, as you saw there. You also want to make sure that there's a couple pieces of glass on top of your spawner so that no mobs spawn there. And one final little thing that I forgot is you need to place a slab right there and a slab right there as well. And that'll actually keep your blazes from hopping outside of your trough. Once they're in there, they are in there for good. They are not going to be getting out of there. So make sure you place in those 2 slabs. Very, very important. And also, I know some of you somewhere are going to have problems with this blazes leaking out of the farm. It's just kind of how it is on Bedrock Edition. If you want to really reinforce this thing, I would suggest adding more obsidian to the backside here and above here as well, and kind of just reinforcing this entire backside. Really, the more blocks there is, the harder it will be for blazes to glitch through. And then also in like these corners, just kind of go ahead and kind of fill these in as well. All of these blocks right here don't need to be non-movable because the slime blocks won't be touching them. And then this kind of area as well. And yeah, just anywhere where there's like just a corner or something, blazes could in theory have a much easier time of hopping through there. So just keep that in mind if you have blazes leaking out. As a final note on this farm, I did make one decision that could in theory impact your rates, and that is to have your spawner be only 5 blocks off the floor instead of 6. The reason why I made it 5 blocks off the floor is because that way when you actually turn off your farm, eventually your spawner will stop spawning blazes. If you had that spawner 6 blocks off the floor instead of 5, it would basically just continuously spawn blazes forever because all the blazes that spawn fall out of the spawner cap range. So if you had that 6 off the floor and there was a player in the area, it would just continuously spawn blazes forever, which could get very laggy. But with the way that it's currently set up and the way that I show in the tutorial, when you turn the farm off, eventually it will stop spawning blazes. So let's go ahead and use this farm, shall we? Let's flick the lever, all those guys will get pushed down and crushed, and this thing is always extremely noisy, but kind of fantastic to watch, isn't it? We can go ahead and hit these guys one time and they will all die, drop their fantastic experience, and give us some blaze rods. They're so loud. And then we can throw a potion of harming in there and just kind of instantly kill all of those guys. As you can see, these guys up here are not a problem either. They're just getting stuck right there in that 1 by 1. And if we want to accept them into the kind of lower area, we can just kind of flick open that lever and all the new blazes will just go into our kill chamber. Super easy little design. I hope you guys get a ton of use out of this in your world. If you have any suggestions or feedback or constructive criticism, comments or questions or concerns, then leave it all in the comment section down below. I take all the feedback and help improve the farms with it. So thank you very much for leaving feedback when you do, or if you do, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, then leave a like on it. If you're new here, then consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one, and I will see you down in the comment section and in the next video. And then there was silence.